So this is going to be 10 minutes. Starting now. And okay, so we're familiar with it. I'm going to use the whole page again. There's good quality of shapes. They're so interesting. There's these amazing angular, subtle curves. But I want to start the same way I did, just because of the setup and the proportion. I'm reading negative space, and at the same time, I'm getting myself set up for proportion. So it's more of a overall read, just like I did the first time. In terms of angles, and begin to really interpret that negative space and mastering that switch over from negative to positive, from positive to negative, is what's going to make a huge difference in your drawing. So again, I see this perfect line that goes from here right through here and points me right at here. So just realizing the space between them as well, it's going to give me that sense of placement. 100% negative drawing here for the space. And that would be my first pass. So once I have this, I'm going to begin to make decisions on, okay, what needs adjustment here? And I'm looking at elements that, for example, this is way too high. This is way a little bit higher. This should be lower. So how do these begin to relate to each other? And now that I lower this one, how does that relate to this shape over here? And just readjust without having to do any type of erasing or starting over. I want to begin to get a sense of the pose and the weight of it and how it relates to the other elements. And now, without thinking it too much, let's switch over to this one. Going for cleaner lines, and again, that nice negative space read. Simplified. This would be my second pass. So these are more geometric lines, straighter lines, not a lot of curved lines. Closing one eye. Don't forget to close one eye and get that good monocular flat read. And paying attention to what are you thinking as you're going through these. Your mind, yeah, you want to be kind of in a blank, in the zone kind of state of mind. But some of the decisions that you're making, obviously kind of conscious decisions. Why am I doing? What was I looking for? Am I even looking at the image when I did this part here? Can I actually see the shape? How did I decide or confirm some of the angles? Here, generally, we would get caught up with these smaller details here. I'm just making a nice quick read, negative space, very simplified. What I just said earlier, how much detail do I need to live with? That's it right there. 1, 2, 3 lines. And it kind of hints at what's going on. What I am focusing on. And I am really going a little bit slower for some of these gentler, subtle, kind of folds, bend, curves. Because there's a little more of that texture coming in now, as I could see what it is. And I'm talking about a jacket. Once you begin to think about detail, your tendency is making up information. So avoid that mindset where you still are clear on what it is you're looking for. And what we are looking for is just the shape of the negative space. Always. Well, always for this exercise, just to be clear. The shape of this element here, so interesting, so almost abstract, that you could give yourself, just go for it, 100% blind. So keep your eyes on your reference and give yourself permission to just go for it. I could do it. And just stay blind contour. Yeah, okay, not 90, not 100%, 99% or 98%. But really be able to push yourself to, what if I fix my eyes on the reference and I let my hand guide and I get a sense of that coordination? What would happen? And then see the result. Look at that. I could live with that. Because again, we're just working with silhouettes, no detail at all. I'm just going to add a couple of lines. And I'm, again, squinting, looking at what's lighter and darker. As I squint, not closing one eye, but squinting in order to see what's lighter and darker for values. And I'm just adding a couple of lines like that. Now for our subject, I do see some light coming in here. So I'm going to do the same. Squint. Kind of get a generic sense. Once I begin to do this type of filling, coloring kind of, I got to be a little more careful with the technique, which is going to give the volume if it's what I'm trying to do. For the most part, they'll stay as silhouettes. And you'll have to be very subtle with changes. Say, for example, here, where you begin to see differences as you make elements of the image. For example, the arm darker, so we know it's superimposed. So I'm just going to keep it pretty monotone. There's, believe it or not, between this line that I'm drawing here, there's also negative space created. If you look, for example, at this shape here, I'm going to draw a couple lines through it. So you can actually see how this creates a new negative space shape there. And that could give you very interesting things. There we go. Perfect timing.